Welcome to the Wellness Revolution podcast, the radio show all about wellness in your mind, body, spirit, personal growth, sex, and relationships. Stay tuned for weekly interviews featuring guests that have achieved physical, mental, and spiritual health in their lives. If you'd like to have access to our entire back catalog, visit drveronica.com for instant access. And here is your host, Dr. Veronica.
So here we are. I'm Dr. Veronica. Welcome to another episode of Dr. Veronica's Wellness Revolution. You're going to enjoy this episode today because we're going to talk about what's in our hands. Woo! Yes. And so you guys know I do woo-woo stuff now. And some of the woo-woo stuff that I do now is directly as a result of the lady that I have on with me today. And you're going to love this because I've sent clients to her and they're so fascinated when they get information back. Sometime the information is exactly what I figured out in them in a different way. So I know it all goes together. It all hooks together, but it's about figuring out your purpose. So people have a lot of anxiety in their life. They're unhappy. Why? Because they're not on the right path and they don't know how to get on the right path. And how do you know whether it's the right path or the wrong path in the first place? Well, you have a gut feeling. You know a lot of times where I'm not where I'm supposed to be. And I've been at those times. I'm not where I'm supposed to be, but where am I supposed to be and how do I get there? Guess what? Some of this was written in your hands. And these are not just written in your hands from palm reading, looking at it and then guessing. It's because you have certain lines and patterns on your fingers, your palms, that tell about what you were made to do, what your particular purpose is. You might want to call this your divine purpose. And so let's jump right into it. I want to introduce to you Jayne Sanders, and I'm going to spell this for you because this is the day of Google, so you have to know how to do it right. Jayne Sanders. PrecisionWisdom.com is her website. She does scientific hand analysis. We're going to talk about what it is that's scientific about it. Jayne previously was in corporate America speaking and doing something that sounds good on paper, but it wasn't her life purpose. It wasn't where she was supposed to be. So she went searching for her own life purpose and found this science, which all sciences also have some art involved in it, but this is really science that's very accurate, which spoke to her. And now she is a world-renowned expert. She does hand analysis all over on all kinds of people, corporate executives, CEOs, and just regular people who want to figure out, what do I need to do with my life and where do I go? And please give me some guidance. Even one of my favorite clients who went to her, 75, she says, I really want to know what exactly I'm here to do. Think about it. At 75, she knows my life is not over because there's something still I have to accomplish. How do you figure that out? And when you're 75, you got to figure it out faster than when you're 25. So it's written in your hands. Jayne, welcome to the Wellness Revolution.
Thank you, Dr. Veronica. Love working with you. You know that. So we go way back.
Yes. So tell us first, how did you get into this? Give your background story, just because people like to hear, well, what gives you authority to speak about this?
And I'll make it quick too, because you gave them a lot of information, but I'm an MBA corporate brat. But I was never really happy in my work and I didn't know what else to do. I kept searching and trying other modalities and career coaches and books and all this other stuff, and nothing was helpful enough. And, long story short, really got serious about it after way too many years. God, don't waste your time doing that, people, please. Trying to figure it out myself, and started a Google search on how do I find my life purpose. Read more books, worked with another career coach, didn't help. And then saw a headline, and the headline on Google said, discover your innate life purpose. And I was like, yay, that's for me. So I click on it and I saw hand analysis and I'm like, oh man, palm reading is fun. but I know it will not give me my life purpose. And then I saw the word scientific. And for the moment, that appeased what I call my anal MBA skepticism. So, I listened to the teleseminar. It was very credible and convincing, and I really wanted my purpose. So I got a hand analysis. It changed my life. It did not tell me I need to be a hand analyst. It's not a job description. That would be cuckoo. But it was informative, deep, specific, and descriptive enough that I started taking action on the information, and doors started opening, clarity started coming. I asked the right people for help. And within 3 months, I was like, oh my God, I have to make people feel the way I do. That's what I'm meant to do, is help people feel inspired and passionate about their life and their work the way I feel. So that is my purpose in a nutshell, is to help other people find their purpose. That's not what it says, but that's what it means.
Yes,
So
I got to tell a little bit about the background of when we first met, because I was sitting here just going back in time when that was. And we were at a conference, which is for people who are CEO, business owner types, up and comings. And there's people who are up and coming to people who are, multimillionaire, very successful, and just love entrepreneurship and ventures. And so as life would have it, and because this was at a time where I was not admitting who I was exactly and what my gifts were, I happened to go by this table with a friend.
in the bar.
In a bar. Yes, we were in a bar. Okay. How about that? And, I don't go to bars or things like that. I just happened to go down to the bar where everybody was hanging out.
In the hotel. So it wasn't like on a strip. It was in the hotel.
It was on a strip. And there's these people sitting around this table, and I see people making handprints. And I was like, well, what's going on? What are you doing? And my one friend there said, oh, I want to get one too. And I said, what do you do? She's like, well, Jayne says, I do scientific hand analysis. And I'm like, that sounds really interesting. I want one too. Now, mind you, at this table were a bunch of woo-woo people, even though I didn't know I was sitting at the woo-woo table, okay? And so there's a couple people there who are very talented psychics. And I remember sitting down at one table, and I'm across from Jayne, and the lady to her left says to me, I can tell. You have visions, don't you? You can see and you know stuff about people. She sat there and told me about what I do. And I didn't even know how to respond, because it's almost like you're outed. You know how the emperor has no clothes?
You're busted.
I was outed, but it was at a time where I was like, I wasn't saying anything. Okay. So I proceed. We have this, all this kind of interesting woo-woo talk, but I'm still like, I'm a doctor. We ain't talking about this kind of stuff. Yeah, I can tell some things and see them, but nobody cares about that kind of stuff. Nobody cares about that kind of stuff. This is about hard science, and nobody cares about it. So I print my hands. I'm with Jayne at the table. She looks and says, oh my God, you have some interesting things here. Let me just give you like a mini thing. And she tells me a few things, and I'm like, oh, all right. She says, okay, here's when I finish, you'll make an appointment. We make the appointment, and Jayne proceeds by phone. We had never met before. Only at that time I did my handprint. And when we got on that phone, she proceeded to tell me almost like everything about me and my life and what I felt deeply, what I was meant to do and be, some of which I had strayed away from, some of which I just never wanted to admit. Like I was sitting at that table and was like, what's this got to do with anything? All right, yeah, so what? You guys.
And what's ironic, Veronica, is that, yes, I can see the woo-woo in hands, which is intuitive capability, but this work really is not woo-woo. Even though I'm woo-woo too, the work is not. It really is scientific, that the lines in your hands mimic the neural pathways in your brain. Neurologists are getting involved, geneticists, because there are similarities in families, and the work is so accurate and precise That's why my company's named Precision Wisdom. But the work is so accurate that Forbes wrote an article about me and my work. So, you know, it's the true stuff. And it answers those big questions. Why do I do what I do? Why do people respond to me the way they do? Why do I feel the way I feel? Why am I unhappy? Why do I have this something missing in my life? Why don't I have fulfillment and meaning and joy, which is what I was missing and what I found through this work. So, you know, I just shout it from the rooftops. I'm so passionate about it.
So tell a little bit more about the science behind it, because I mean, I bring this to my audience because a lot of people are sick physically because there's something underlying going on, a stress that's emotional and spiritual. And sometimes we don't know what it is or how to find it. And it's not on the psychologist's couch. Most of us have found there's something else out there. And we feel like there's something I don't know. So what is the science behind this a little bit more?
Well, the more that I can add to that is that the system it's more of a statistical reliability, which is science. So the gentleman that created this system spent 40 years, talk about anal, and analyzed over 15,000 pairs of hands, so over 30,000 hands, to put this database together. It's extraordinarily reliable. Enough so that, let's say, for example, he identified, you know, a marker that 5 people that had this mark had the same characteristic. If a 6th person that had this mark came in and did not have that characteristic, he would throw it out. He would throw out the mark. So that's why it's so accurate and so deep and profound.
So he studied many years, 40 years, many hands, and that really is a study. You know,
I mean, it's
over and over again.
Yeah.
Let me just say about studies, most of the science that we allow ourselves to be treated with today doesn't have 40 years behind it and 30,000 hands or 30,000 subjects in it.
Yeah.
And so we just want to point that out to people. It may have hundreds, it may have 1,000, but not multiple double-digit thousands. All the drugs that we take, the surgeries that we do, not especially with one person looking over and over again. So tell us about some of the characteristics that you can see by looking at the lines in your hands.
Okay, so first of all, the 3, what I call, this is my very professional word, biggies. The 3 biggies that you get with, you know, what your hands have to tell you. I mean, there's a blueprint in here for us. You know, God tries to help us, spirit, source, universe, whatever your word is. It's got this blueprint in our hands with all this information. We just got to figure it out. So your innate life purpose, how you're meant to make a difference in the world, the gifts you have to help you fulfill that purpose, special gifts, the blind spots or tripping points that are keeping you from living that purpose and from experiencing that more consistent joy and fulfillment and meaning and abundance in your life. It tells you identifies your relationship style so that you can understand yourself in relationships so much better. And like you get that with your primary romantic partner, oh my gosh, it's so helpful understanding each other. It kind of really helped my marriage, frankly. Because we're opposites in our relationship style and helped us really understand each other. And your thinking style, your decision-making style, your level of intuition, of creativity, all about any issues that are tripping you up. So it could be intimacy things, because there are many markings possible on all the major lines that tell us a lot. I can see if there have been challenging childhood situations. I don't know what they are. I just know that there was some poo-poo going on, or that happened, you know, a challenge. And that's not even that helpful because people know that. It's the other stuff about this is who you are. This is why you do what you do. This is why these things keep happening, why you keep feeling this way, why you keep stumbling over things, why life keeps kicking you in the butt, all this, and then what to do about it. So it's not just fascinating, it's actionable. And it's not predictive at all. It's really not woo-woo. It's not fortune telling. It's not palm reading. The only prediction I do make is that I don't care how good your life is now. If you take action on what your hands have to tell you, it will only get better, period.
Yes, I agree, because I've had this, it changed the course of where I was at the time. And one thing I have to ask about is, I had a friend one time, we were sitting in the spa and she was complaining about her child not getting into a gifted program. And you know how when you're in these competitive places, gifted programs, I'm not saying there's not some people who are intellectually way up there, but on the other side, how we decide that and get people get in and out of these things is based on some type of written test. You gave a new definition to gifted. And so now when people say to me, you're gifted, I know I truly am gifted.
Yes, you are.
Times 8.
Yep.
Explain what I'm talking about with the giftedness, because this is, if you want to know what your gift is, and even if you don't necessarily have one of these gifts, doesn't mean anything bad, but to talk to us about what it really means to be gifted and how you can tell that in people's hands.
Okay, so what Dr. Veronica is referring to, everyone, is gift markings. And gift markings in the hands are indications of extra potential talent in different areas, and they're very important for 3 reasons. Guess I can't count. For 3 reasons.
And she has 12 of them or something like that.
It's up to 14 now, believe it or not. So that explains why my life is goofy. But anyway, and you can grow them by, so that's what's interesting. By the way, so really quickly, the fingerprints you're born with, they never change. And I got off track. The 3 biggies are your life purpose, your life school, and your life lesson. The life school is the overarching energy of who you are and the theme of your life. And the life lesson is the biggest tripping point, the number one thing that keeps people from living on purpose. And what forms part of the purpose, the way I do it, is, in the expanded statement, are keywords from any gift markings. So gift markings are indications of extra potential talent. They're important because most people on the planet don't have one. So anything, that's unusual or rare in hand analysis makes it very important. Now, that said, I have a lot, so I tend to attract people with gift markings. I have had one client out of over 1,300 that did not have a gift marking, and he was very gifted in what he did. So not having a gift marking does not mean you're not gifted. There are people with no gift markings who are making an amazing difference in the world. And people with, 10 or 15 who suck because they're not using their gifts. They're stuck in their student paths. So they're not using their gifts and making the difference they're meant to make. And it's hard to use them when you don't know what they are. So they're important because they're relatively rare. They're important because they help explain the how you're meant to make a difference, the gifts you have to help you fulfill your purpose. And they're important because they have a flip side. So everything in the hands has both a master and a student path. Master path feels good, helps you be on purpose, goes with the flow. Student path doesn't feel so good, makes it more challenging to live on purpose, looks like frustration, confusion, being stuck, excuses, fear, procrastination, resistance, obstacles. And nobody can be on the master path 100% of the time. We're human, right? We're works in progress. So it's very helpful to know what your master paths are so you know what to strive for. And also to know what your student paths are so you can be more aware when you're on them. And that awareness then gives you the power to make a different choice and change your life. So gift markings have a student path too, and they can be kind of steep. They're not meant as punishment. They're meant as a wake-up call. It's really the God, again, spirit, source, divine, whatever your word is, reaching down and saying, okay, Dr. Veronica, you've got these gifts and you're not using them. So I'm going to give you a little nudge to get your attention. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to dial it up to a shove. And if that doesn't get you using those gifts, girl, I'm pulling out a cosmic 2x4. And wham, comes a life complication. So the more gifts you have, usually the more complications you have, but you also are more gifted to work through those complications. So it doesn't feel like it. It's not like having a bad life. It's just if you add up the obstacles you faced, your list is likely longer than the average person. So, it's not, anyway, everybody wants to have gift markings, and it does mean that you're very gifted, but you can find out exactly what that means and what that looks like, because there's gifts, there's intuitive gifts, there's a courage gift, there are, helping people in deep ways, several types of gifts. There's a speaking and writing, mass communication gift. There's a coaching and counseling gift. There's a being very resourceful gift. There's being a leader and influential gift. There's 18 different gifts. So I always see them, other than that one person. And that was like when I first started this work.
And what percentage of the population has a gift marking? At least any gift marking?
It's changing, Veronica. So if you're looking at me, I would say 99.9. But if you ask my teachers and the gentleman that created this system, he said 15%. But he's talking about, indigenous tribes in Australia and South America and people that he means every human on the planet. And they don't need them. They don't need to have those complications. And by the way, most CEOs have very simple hands.
Interesting.
Because they don't have the complications, and that's what helps them be successful. They don't get in their own way. Right? So, and there's no intelligence gift marking. Actually, there's not much way you can see intelligence in the hands. You see capabilities and capacity for different things. So I don't know what the percentage is anymore. I don't believe that it's only 15%. I think the world is changing. I think there are more crystal and indigo children coming in because the world needs our help, and we need to step up and use our gifts and use our woo-woo-ness to help save the planet. So I think more and more people are being called to come in with these gifts, and some you can be born with, others you earn from your own life experiences.
So based on listening to this, I'm thinking, okay, well, people who are very high functioning, who are out there being something that's going to make it and change the world, are the people that need a hand analysis. Is that who you recommend it for? Who needs a hand analysis?
No, it's people who were like me, were stuck and not happy in their work, but didn't know what to do, didn't know what else to do. They just knew something wasn't right. Because if you're on purpose, you know it. You love what you do, you're on fire, you're passionate about it, you got joy, you're fulfilled, you got meaning, and you're making money. Other people, so it's people who are stuck and not happy in their work, entrepreneurs who love their work but aren't making the money they want to make. I can find where they're stuck. And I don't want to exclude CEOs and executives, because it will give them depth and authenticity and awareness deeper than ever before, and help them step even more into their gifts and be role models for authenticity and being the people that they're meant to be, and be better leaders and better managers. And then I can even do teams and identify an overall purpose and lesson and school for the team, so that they've got this guiding light and they know it comes from their hands. And people trust it because it's not what they answered on a form or in a questionnaire. It comes from their hands and from a third-party expert. So they trust it more than if it came out of their own head. Right? And
yes, that's true, because you're stunned. You're like,
yeah,
how does she know that?
Right.
Handprints.
Yeah. I just came from a speaking engagement, and I always do these little mini readings. And I mean, people are just flabbergasted. And I would say over half of my clients, and that includes some men, cry when they're on the phone with me because they feel more seen and understood than any other time in their life. But you also asked about who this is good for. People like Lynn, who are getting ready to retire and want to make sure they leave the legacy that they're meant to leave before it's too late. People who are very committed to growth and development, because man, this gives you that deeper than anything. And people who are just really curious about what's in your hands, but they have to be really curious. This is not a $100 palm reading. This is your purpose. This is for you for the rest of your life to take action on and to guide you.
Yes. So talk about the process of getting this, because people are thinking, well, you know, I'm watching you over the internet and you're far away and you're talking about doing a handprint. Explain.
Right. So it's really simple. I have clients all over all over Canada, all over the US, some in Europe. When somebody gets a hand analysis, my team mails them a hand printing kit, and they take their prints that look like this, and everything they need is sent to them, and they mail it back to me because scanners are not quite sharp enough to get all the stuff I need. So they mail them back, and then we set up this phone call where everything's recorded and they get a 4-page summary report and a 30-minute follow-up, because there's so much information, as you know, you can't remember it all and you can't take it all in. So you need time to kind of let it digest and to listen to the recording, because you will hear on the recording things you did not hear during the live session.
Okay, so that sounds like not only do you get to have the analysis and digest it a little, you get to come back and have follow-up along with this, which is not the same as a lot of other services, and you get the same information again. So
yeah, you can ask questions and I can help however I can. You know, if you've got some ideas to run by me or you want to go into something in more depth. So yeah.
So I know that you are a purpose coach, and you use your hand analysis to help people in the coaching. Talk a little bit more, because this is not the same as run-of-the-mill life coaching. And I'm not trying to disparage life coaches, but you know, some of us feel like, well, how's a life coach going to accurately figure out anything about me? They're just, what?
Yeah.
How are they going to know what to tell me and how to guide me just based on what are they getting that background from?
So exactly. And that's why that's my entree tool, because it's so deep and so helpful. And I don't have to know anybody. Most of my clients I've never met. So the hand analysis provides me the foundation for the purpose coaching. And then and not everybody gets purpose coaching. So it just depends. Some people like you already knew where you wanted to go. You just, the confirmation and the validation of your gifts and your purpose is what really helps you feel confident about going in that direction, right? So a lot of people, or some people, are in that same boat where they have a thought about what they want to do, or they just want to, you know, they have some ideas, and then the hand analysis confirms everything and they're off. Other people like me, they know it was right. They resonate with it. It blows their mind because of the accuracy and the depth of it. And it's not that you already know everything. It's just that how can I describe this? The rest of it is so accurate that when you hear things you haven't heard, it resonates at a level that you just know it's true. You know, it just lines up and you just know it's true. And I didn't know I wanted to be a hand analyst, but purpose coaching helps people get from the hand analysis. I gather a lot of other information. I have an amazing gift for connecting the dots. And then I help identify ideal work that they could do that would be in alignment with their purpose and light them up like never before. So it's called purposeful, passionate living, because people start feeling more passionate about their life after the first 1 or 2 sessions. So, you know, it's just me gathering a lot of information, asking the right questions, assigning activities to do, and then connecting the dots. And I also have a very rare gift marking that is called a star of intention, which is all about getting massive results. So I get massive results for my clients, and I love doing it.
Wonderful. So Jayne Sanders, Jyne Sanders, you have a special gift for the audience so that they can get a discount on a hand analysis.
That's
And
right.
you guys, no, this is evergreen. And so even if you're watching this and you're like, it's a year later, it's 2 years later, I'm seeing it. We made it so that the code's going to always work. So you want to go and use this code because Jayne agreed to keep it there.
Yep.
Pretty much forever.
Yep.
So,
But here's the thing. So the code is a $200 discount. So some people charge up to $1,500 for this. I don't. My full hand analysis, if you just go to my website without knowing me, is $697.
Mm-hmm.
But if you use this code, which is Jayne 200, Jayne 200, when you go to my website, go to Work with Jayne, go to Scientific Hand Analysis, click on Yes, I Want a Hand Analysis. It'll take you to the payment page, put in that code, and it will drop $200 off that down to $497. The only caveat is that price may go up. So yes, the code will work a year from now, but it might be off a higher price.
Yeah, I told Jayne he wasn't charging enough. I'm so sorry, guys. It's just because I know the value that I got from it, which was much more. I've had people that I've paid thousands of dollars to, and I feel like, what was that all about? What was that for? Like, oh my God, I just wasted all that. And then I, got an analysis and worked a little bit with Jayne and said, this is a bargain. And so for those who are ready to invest in their life purposes, this is a way to start and know for sure, because what's written in your hands, written on your brain, a lot of it you're born with. Scientific hand analysis. So Jayne Sanders, precisionwisdom.com. Go to precisionwisdom.com so you can get the discount. Thank you so much, Jayne.
Oh, my pleasure. Oh, my pleasure. And yes, this is for the rest of your life. This is not just, a $100 palm reading. This is an investment for the rest of your life to guide you and give you insight and direction and inspiration like you've never felt before. And, I'm remembering now, we did work together afterwards because of your gifts. You had so many gift markings. So, we needed to dive into those. And
yes, and just I remember, because what gave me courage to speak about my gifts is that you told me that I had several gift markings, but people guess how many, a lot. And you told me 5 of my gift markings were intuitive markings, which meant, hey, you want to know, can I do what I could do? Yes. My hand said that I am intuitive.
Yes, you can.
By a psychic right next to Jayne, and I wasn't admitting it. And then she did the reading, and I was just like, oh my gosh, okay, now I don't get it. I don't get it.
That's what I tell people. You have been validated. You have been confirmed. You have been seen, and you are now busted.
So thank you so much, Jayne, for being on the Wellness Revolution.
Oh, my pleasure, Dr. Veronica. Always love working with you, and great to see you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Wellness Revolution podcast. If you want to hear more on how to bring wellness into your life, visit drveronica.com. See you all next week. Take care.